Hello. So up next, I'm going to show you about two phonemic awareness programs. They involve letters too. But two phonemic awareness and phonics programs that you can use to supplement your work in Orton Gillingham. So these are not something you'd use interchangeably with Kilpatrick or Hegarty. Kilpatrick and Hegarty are the drills that you'd add on to the beginning of your lesson for daily practice. These programs, the Linda Mood Bell LiPS program and Lively Letters, those, although they are full programs that you could do with Fidelity, for our purposes, I'm going to say that these programs could be used to introduce your new letters, your new flashcards in a much better way, and troubleshoot a sticky phonological issue. Okay, so I'm going to show you them because they provide really great cueing for the teacher and the student, and you can use that within your OG lesson to better instruct kids and troubleshoot. Okay, so let's start by, let me show you. So by the way, this is a very old manual, so it doesn't look like this anymore, but this is the Linda Mood Bell program. And what's special about the Linda Mood Bell program, or what I find to be really helpful, or LiPS, I should call it. Linda Mood Bell is actually the company, so this particular program is the Linda Mood Phoneme Sequencing Program, which is where the LiPS idea comes from. So these images, so it's its own thing that you would do, with Fidelity, and it has its own way to go through and teach things, everything like that. I'm going to skip over that part because you're not being trained in that today. I want to show you how these pictures of the mouth and what the mouth does and how helpful these are for you as a teacher. It will help you understand what's happening when you make these consonant sounds, and it will help you guide your student. And we'll go back to that. That's the vowels. So let's start with that. So I photocopied this and laminated it because I often use these in my private tutoring or small groups. So here we have some of the consonants. So these are the ones that are the cognates. So there's a noisy and a quiet sound. They often there could be a phonological error connected to these because they're articulated in such a similar way. For example, the P and the B, p, b, they both start with their lips closed and they puff open. One is quiet, p, p, p. One is noisy, b, b, b. But they look the same. So if the student looks in the mirror at what their mouth is doing, they'll see that it's the same thing. It's just whether or not their voice is on or off. So when do we see these kind of phonological errors? In writing and spelling. If you notice errors that tend to be about PV or F and TH or KG, or sometimes it's CG or SH and CH, those are phonological errors. There's something similar about the way we articulate those two sounds, and the child needs help being extra sensitive to that. So instead of just drilling with your foundations keywords, that's probably not going to do it. That works for general ed kids, and those keywords are helpful. But if you need some more advanced troubleshooting, you're going to be wanting to talk to them about what their mouth is doing. So having a mirror on hand is really helpful. Now, of course, we all have a cell phone with selfie mode, so that could be useful too. But I like to give myself and my child each a mirror so we can simultaneously, I can model how I look at my lips, and so that they can look at their lips too. Plus, they all love looking at themselves, so that's an easy tool to incorporate. Let me go through these names just for your knowledge. P, B, P, P, B. Those are lip poppers. Our mouth starts closed and it pops open. Those are lip coolers. Our teeth are on our bottom lip, and a stream of air goes down to cool our lip. D. Those are tongue tappers because our tongue is tapping. T, t, t. D, d, d. A puff of air comes out. K and G are tongue scrapers. The tongue is scraping the roof of our mouth. K, g, k, g. And our mouth is kind of open like that. This one's hard to see in a mirror. We really have to go inward and feel it. And there's that puff of air. TH and TH, same spelling, but two different sounds for this one. This is a tongue biter. You notice how all of these, it goes quiet, noisy, quiet, noisy. Also notice how the picture shows how some of the consonant sounds are continuous and they get dragged out, and some of our consonants are quick puffs of air. I think that's called the skinny air sound. Sorry. Now, ZH, of course, never occurs in spelling, but is a common sound that we find in the middle of a multisyllable word, like conversation, jeune, you know, that jeune sound that we hear. And CH and J, j. What's helpful is really that stream of air for something like SH and CH that helps kids see that no, SH gets dragged out. Shh. Whereas CH, we can feel that little hot puff of air. Same with right here. If you're getting these sounds confused, look how my teeth are biting my lip. And in this case, my tongue is out there and my teeth are biting the tip of my tongue. Okay? So these are the kinds of cues and pictures, and this is the kind of work that will help us dive deep with kids and work on the phonological issue that's the root of their error. So likewise, Linda Mubel has the consonants that I just showed you. And I didn't show you all the consonants. That was just the cognate page, meaning like the noisy and quiet brothers. We also have our nose sounds and our air sounds. And these are our liquids, or like the tongue is kind of like floating in the air. Okay. And where's my vowels? Here it is. This is called the vowel circle. Now, Linda Mubel is known for this because if you did the LiPS program with Fidelity, this vowel circle would be a really big part of the lesson, okay? But I'm not talking about that. We're not training you in the LiPS program today. We're talking about vowel sounds and consonant sounds and how these tools and the knowledge in these programs can support you in Orton-Gillingham. Because Orton-Gillingham is way more than just a 10-step lesson plan template. No, it's what you bring to it with your teacher knowledge and your knowledge of the child and the way you notice and understand their errors. So what we have here is just like we had those cues for the consonants, now we have some cues for the vowels. You actually have this. It's in your Birch book, and I believe it's in your Motes book as well, but definitely Birch. If you look in the index for vowel circle, you will find a version of this. You can even Google vowel circle and find something to print out online if you want. Okay, so our mouth starts in a smile. And our jaw is up high. This is like a cross section of our mouth. And then as we go down, our jaw dips down lower and then back up, and then we have a rounded sound. Okay, so watch me as I go through these sounds. And you can watch my mouth. I mean, E, I, A, O, U. So you saw how my jaw went down and it went from a smile to a round shape, okay? That will help you talk about what's happening with students. Now, with students when they say the sounds, they don't have to have this memorized. If you're in the LiPS program, you do. But our Orton-Gillingham kids might just need a little help with a couple particular vowels. By the way, I should say, I do not hear a difference between ah and ah. I don't know if that's a regional thing for us in, Massachusetts or what the deal is, but I just want to clarify that in case you couldn't hear it either. Here's a common error pattern that my kids have. The short E gets either confused with short I or short A. I, I end up drawing a lot of attention to how my mouth is in a smile for I, a little bit of a wider smile for ah, and a big wide thing like I'm going to take a bite of an apple for ah. Okay, so those are three different things that my mouth does, and it's helpful for them to see you do it and then connect it with the print or look at their own mouth or whatever. Another spot where some of my students have issues are with these sliders. So long I, long U, and the ow and oi sounds, our mouth slides from one position to another. I, you, ow, oi. When you're teaching these phonograms, it's really helpful to say up front, ooh, my mouth slides from one position to another. Let's take a look at that. Oi, oi. If you show them that up front, that will support them, especially when they go to spell. Because some kids, when they feel their mouth slide, they try to like add in an extra letter to show what they're feeling. And then of course we have our little R controls off to the side there. Okay, so that is that's a little overview of the LiPS materials and how they might be able to support you. I believe I'm going to put this on Canvas for you because I find this to be a really helpful printable. Now let's take a look at Lively Letters. Now Lively Letters is a program that is actually from Massachusetts. These sisters live on the South Shore. So, so it's a local program, which is pretty cool. You can be trained in this for really cheap. I think it's like $70 for a 6-hour training, and it's usually broken up into 2 3-hour chunks. So that could be something if you wanted them to go in deep. I'm not going to go through this program and how to do it with fidelity. That's not the point. The point is how to use these a la carte materials to support your OG work. So here we have their suggested order of introduction. I only do it this way if I'm teaching pre-K. So if I was doing this with pre-K students, I'd go through my consonants this way. But when I'm doing Orton Gillingham, I just pull in these cards as needed to support. So in the manual, you'll see the description and it goes in deep for each of the stories or whatever. You can also buy on iTunes for like $10 the songs, which is awesome. So I have them on my phone and I can just pull it up and play that during the lesson. The songs are goofy, beware. So if you're working with an older kid, you can kind of like roll your eyes and be tongue in cheek about it. But a lot of my little students like it. So the rest of the manual is just talking you through how to use these as, how to do this in like a phonics program. I don't know many people who use Lively Letters in the purest way or use that to teach phonics. I know a lot of people who use it to teach letter knowledge in pre-K and maybe even beginning of K. Let's take a look at those cards. So again, the whole thing with Lively Letters is it's going to be really drawing attention to what your mouth is doing, okay, because it was written by a speech pathologist, and connect that to the symbol. These symbols are random, they're arbitrary. It's very complicated for a young child or a child with dyslexia to attach this random shape to this random sound. Of course, some of the shapes even look alike. Some of the sounds are articulated similarly. Some of the letter names rhyme. This is a ridiculous code that we have, right? It's really tricky. So this program tries to break down that code so that kids can attach those mouth movements, those sounds to the print. I'm going to say that again. The mouth movement, the sound that it makes to this little printed symbol. And yes, they do have uppercase ones as well. But for the purposes of Orton Gillingham, anybody who you're doing OG with would be at the lowercase level. But when I do this with pre-K kids, I use the uppercase ones. The stories are the same, and the picture is as close to possible as being the same as well. So you don't have to get a new manual. It's just your preference. Also in 2020, they updated their artwork, so it's a little crisper and it's more like digital looking as opposed to these, which really look like somebody just drew them with markers at their house. But they are genius. They are genius as low budget as they might look. They really are amazing. So here again, we have what Linda Mood Bell would call the lip poppers, and it's this whole cutesy story about the mom and how she wants to walk around quietly. So her sound is quiet. And the baby doesn't want to take a nap and his sound is noisy. Buh, buh, buh. And you can see right there on the card, it gives you a cue. Our lips start close and then they puff open. Lips start close and then they puff open. So we're really connecting to the visual of the print. Linda Mood Bell does not connect to the shape of the letter. It's all about what's happening in your mouth and what you hear, but There's nothing to support the child to link it with that shape. So I love using this for pre-K and K because of how it connects it to the shape. So here's our tongue tappers in Linda Mood Bell, and we can call them tap dancers or whatever here. We have our T, tapping really quietly, and you can see the tongue tapping on the teeth. And we have our D, tapping really noisy, and he's even hitting his belly like it's a big drum. Duh, duh, duh. So the pictures are supposed to help us link to that random letter shape. And here's the newer, well, this is uppercase, but it's also the newer graphics, which is a little bit easier to look at. Now the songs, I'm not going to play it for you because I don't think it'll work very well over this recording, but the songs can be really helpful too. And if you don't have, like, I don't have this memorized for all of them, but the guide that comes in the manual or this little booklet that comes in your packet if you get the cards, it tells you the script. Okay, so it would be fine for you as an OG teacher to get the flashcards and then just rely on the little script that's in here. Because the flashcards might be about like $60 a pack, $40, $60, something like that. So it's a reasonable thing just to buy as an add-on. Okay, I'll just quickly go through some of these other ones. We have our lip coolers. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. The tongue scrapers are called the choking sounds here. G, g. And these skinny air sounds. And like I said, the stories that go with them help to explain kind of like the randomness here. Okay. I also love for some consonants that have just been hard for kids to articulate, and I just find like the foundations card doesn't really cut it always. I found these to be really nice, like a whooshing air sound, and we think of like those two bottom parts. This has really worked for students to think of those two bottom parts as the visual for the wheels. It helps them differentiate between the M and N for one, and we think about this whooshing air sound as this kid goes racing by in his wheelchair. Likewise, we think about this duck, the mama duck, and she always has her baby, and she goes quack, quack, quack. So the lively letter cards, those pictures are often better at supporting kids than the Foundations picture cards. Just so, like, if you have a child with real phonological issues, this might be the way to go. One of the flaws here is that they're not color-coded. So these cards aren't color-coded the way that our Wilson and OG cards are, with the pink for the vowels and the yellow for the consonants. So you can see the pros and cons of these different tools, and it starts to make sense which kids would need, you know, what. So just to clarify, let me get all these books back up. Oh boy, okay. Just to clarify, Haggerty and Kilpatrick are 1 minute to 5 minute drills that would be used at the beginning of your Orton and Gillingham lesson. That's like a no-brainer. Buy them. Don't sit there and write all those drills yourself. Just go for it. Invest. Yet, Linda Mood Bell and Lively Letters are technically programs meant to be done. They're standalone programs that you can do and should do on your own. Yet, they really offer a lot of support to OG tutors or to people doing structured literacy because they help you zoom in on phonological errors. So that's not the flashcard drill. We're not going to use the Linda Mood Bell or the Lively Letters for our daily flashcard drill. We'll use our OG cards for that. But when you introduce a new card, you might like what LiPS and Lively Letters has to say about it. Or when you notice a persistent error pattern, you might like what LiPS and Lively Letters has to say about it and help you coach the child to feel their mouth, listen to the sound, and link it to the print. Okay, all done with that.